Hey guys, it's Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me. This is OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new to these, appreciate you tuning in, listening to me talk about the workouts. If you find value in them, show your support. Information is in the description. If you don't find value, let me know why. What can I do to help improve? So give me that feedback. I'm always receptive to that. This is going to be day 11 of 12 Days of Fitness. It was the best core workout of 2024. We first did this on February 3rd. It was repeated on the 18th. We're going to see strength on the treads, power on the row, endurance on the weight floor. The 2G is a timed base run row. Do a little bit of overview, and of course, talk about the treads, the rowers, weight floor, 3G, and then get you on out of here. So when we look at the workout for the key concepts, you always love a workout that lights up your core. This one takes the top spot for core focused workouts in 2024. For the tread, you're going to see 2 blocks on the treads. It's always a 1-minute push and a 1-minute base. The goal is to keep your push as we throw in some low inclines to challenge our strength. On the rower, it's 1 row block today, sandwiched between the 2 tread blocks with 3 30-second all-outs. Can you stay within 10 meters of that previous row distance each time? And then for the floor, 3 blocks with the Bosu. Lots of reps, lots of core work, lots of fun in this total body burner. Okay. So as we look at the treads rowers, once again, this is a run row, but it is timed. You'll direct traffic. You'll let them know when to kind of rotate and switch around the room. So one thing to be mindful of is if you, of course, do have 2 groups, for the people who start on the rowers, make sure that they have wipes. So that way after the warm-up, they could wipe down their rower as a courtesy to the people who are on the treadmills, since they'll be the ones who actually use the rowers first. When we look at the treads, you have 2 blocks. They're 9 minutes each. We're going to have a total of 4 rounds of push-base combo, a minute each, but every round the push is going to go up by 0.5%. So the intention here is we want to stay as close to the initial push as incline increases. So if someone starts with a conservative push, they should definitely be able to maintain it as they add incline. If it's more aggressive of a push, they can maintain, or they might scale back like 0.1, 0.2 every time. In total, we are going to see 3 incline increases by 0.5%. Power walkers, they'll start at 6%. Joggers, runners, of course, between 1 to 2 of their base speed. Bikes and striders, we're starting at least 3 gears. And for that push, they could maintain their gear every round. They could also either increase RPM or increase gear to kind of elicit that higher heart rate response, more work that they should do on the bike, similar to how the treads have to increase their work as well. 1 minute at base. And then we move into round 2, incline goes up by 0.5%. So push, joggers and runners, 1.5%. Power walkers, whatever push incline they did last time, add 0.5% to that. Another good challenge for the power walkers is not only the incline, but for that first push, see if they can increase their walk speed just a smidge. And then when they're going back to the base, they use their normal base speed for that. The block finishes with an all-out uphill. So the push is at 1.5, then 2, 2.5, and then the final minute, 1 minute all out at a 3% incline. Power walkers, 10% or greater. Hopefully they can still keep that same push walk speed. And that's it. That's the first block. They'll have 90 seconds to transition, get to the rower, and here they're going to do rack and rest. So 30-second all out, 30-second rack recover. So best setup for this one is, of course, use that stored program. They set the 30-second timer. They have the handles racked. 3, 2, 1, they take off somewhere between 100, 200 meters. When they're done, see how far they get, hit stored programs, and just leave it there. When you finish that 30-second recovery and you go 3, that's when they should hit use, because by the time you say 2, 1, the OT Connect finishes resetting, and then their timer's going, and they could launch with you for that first row. As soon as they finish, they could double check distances from the last row and this attempt. Can they get within 10 meters? Intention here is with staying within 10 meters. We obviously want to make that first row their best one, because they are the most fresh. They had 90 seconds, obviously, to walk from the treadmill to the rower, so they should feel very strong as they get into this first row with 30 seconds of rest. Fatigue is going to be accumulated, which will make it hard to maintain their distance or beat it. So that's why they say stay within 10 meters. They'll have 3 opportunities. After that, wipe down the rower, 90 seconds, get back to the tread. And then when they're back on the tread, this is a repeat of block 1, but in reverse order. So we'll start with that 3% incline with their push speed. And then as the incline goes down every round, maintain or increase their push speed, including the power walkers. So if they were, at 8% or greater and they had their speed at 4, when they dropped to 2.5, could they do 4.1 at 7.5% or greater for the power walkers? Same thing, boom, 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 boom. They finish with a flat road all out. Since this all out is flat road, it's at least matching what they did uphill or doing better. Matching because of course they've accumulated a lot of fatigue in the lower body, improving if they have that capacity to get out of that comfort zone. That's the treads and rowers. There's only one row block, that is it. So they're only on the rower for 90 seconds total. Looking at the weight floor, 3 blocks, 9 minutes, 2.5 minutes timed up with the rowers, and then another 9-minute block. So the first and third block, it's an endurance set with back-to-back. So they have 3 exercises. In block 1, we're gonna do an upper body pull, upper body push, and then a core specific movement. In the third block, it's lower body with a squat, with a hinge, and then a core movement. So when we look at block 1, front foot's elevated on the BOSU as they do a single arm low row, 12 reps on each. Normally I would say like moderate weight for this, but because they're also using that BOSU, it's gonna be a stability challenge on that front ankle, as well as on the midline, light to moderate. Bridge hold with dumbbell close grip chest press. Make sure shoulders are stacked on that BOSU, pinch in between them. Elbows are tucked in. Inside of the arm rubs against the ribs as they press that weight up. Hips are elevated, so a lot of hamstring recruitment there. And then they have the BOSU flutter kick. Obviously, the bigger the flutters, the more challenging it is because it creates more instability as they move. The slower they go, the more challenging it is on the midline. So if you have people flying through it and like, I don't feel my core, slow down, which is generally the case for a lot of things. 3-ish rounds would be great to kind of hit if you spend about a minute per movement, maybe 45 seconds each, but ideally they do all 3, take a moment to rest and do it again. Rest is mostly for the midline because all 3 exercises will hit the core in different ways. So that's gonna be what requires the most rest, not necessarily the push and pull from the upper body. Block 2, we have the return of the BOSU full burpee into the high plank alternating leg lift. It's 30 seconds of each for 3 rounds. The last round is just the burpee. So obviously with the full burpee on the BOSU, hopefully they could do that push-up. If they need to, drop down to their knees. There is no jump, so they'll just stand up with that BOSU and then bring it right back down. Now the high plank alternating leg lift, the key thing for this one is we wanna make sure that a majority of their body weight is centered on top of that BOSU. So from the side profile, hopefully wrist, elbow, shoulder stacked on top of each other, almost like they're trying to pull themselves forward by engaging the lats. And then with that leg lift, think about hip extension. So they're gonna lift the leg by squeezing the glute, squeeze the butt, so there's no knee bend, foot comes up, honestly, just a couple inches, create that instability. They're using their arms to keep them stable, and then they lower down. Once again, like the flutter kick, slower is more challenging. 3 rounds there, burpee, plank, and then the burpee. Then they have their final block, another 9-minute block, once again, lower body focus. So they have the goblet step out squat. They'll alternate left and right, 12 total reps here, followed by a 2-handed single dumbbell deadlift, 12 reps. So the first 2, no BOSU is required, but that lateral step from the step out squat definitely challenges the stability of the knee, challenges the stability of the midline as they have to brace that weight as they move left to right. And then that is then paired up with the bicycle crunch from the BOSU for 12 reps. Just like before, do all 3 movements, rest, rinse and repeat, 2 to 3 rounds or so. And then the finisher is they just keep working for that final minute, increase intensity. So either, make it more challenging by slowing it down, lifting heavier, doing more reps, whatever works for that member. That's the 2G. When we look at the 3G, treadmills are gonna see 2 blocks, rowers, and weight floor will be 1 long block. So the treadmills set up very similar to the 2G, where everything is 1 minute, except for the all out is 30 seconds. So we're gonna see 6.5 minutes in block 1 and in block 2 with a 90-second recovery in between. On the block 1, 3 rounds. First round pushes flat, then 1.5 and 2. After that 2% push climb, they have that flat road base. Their all out for 30 seconds is at 2.5%. So it's a slightly less incline and it is a shorter duration compared to the 2G. And then just like before in block 1, the goal is to stay as close to that initial push, power walkers included, as the incline goes up. So if they start conservative, be able to maintain. If they're aggressive, can they stay within 0.1, 0.2? Block 2, flip it around. So they start with a 2.5% push incline, flat road base, drop it by 0.5%, and then another half. And then after their final base, flat road, 30-second all out. For the rower, this is going to be a power focused row. We're going to see a total of 3 rounds with a med ball exercise and then a split up row distance. And the row distance, the first half is always a push, the back half is an all out. So this is like a progressive build. We've done these multiple times throughout the year. So when we increase that intensity, of course, there's going to be a couple ways to do it, whether that's increasing the stroke rate, increasing the leg drive, combination of both. No matter what they do, obviously that second half, they should have higher average watts compared to the first half. For round 1, 2, and 3, first time through, they're going to start with a med ball exercise with a reverse lunge to a torso rotation with the med ball. They'll do 10 on one leg, 10 on the other. Round 1 starts with a 400-meter row, 200 at push, 200 and all out. Make sure members use that 400 stored program. That way they don't do their 200 and then have to reset it, do another 200. They do a 400. From 400 down to 200, push, 199 to 0, all out effort. Then they should have to rest. Round 2 is the exact same thing, but now it's a 300-meter row split by 150, 150. And then the third round, med ball exercise, 200-meter row, 100 push, 100 all out. Once they've completed those 3 rounds, they repeat that. This time, the med ball exercise is going to be an overhead hold with a single leg calf raise, 10 on each side. So as they're extending the med ball up, make sure lock out those arms, really reach high and tight, core is braced, and they're balancing on one foot as they pick up the heel and back down. Very tough balance and stability movement, not only for the ankle, but also for the midline. And the emphasis, of course, it's the best core day, to make sure they are engaging their core to get the most out of it. They're going to repeat those same 3 rounds just with that movement. So in total, 6 rounds on the row. If they finish all 6, row for distance. Remembering how kind of this went a while back with set up similar workouts to this, most people will probably get through that second attempt of the round 2. You might get a couple start or get through round 3, but to get through all 6, if they're truly doing it from a push into an all out and taking that rest, not the most likely, especially knowing that they're doing 20 reps of an exercise every time. That's definitely going to eat up a big chunk of the row block. Now, weight floor is going to be all 6 exercises, but we're going to split them up with a back-to-back for 2 rounds and then the other back-to-back for 2 rounds. So low row, chest press, flutter kick, rest, repeat for that second attempt. Then they do the lower body circuit for 2 rounds, and then they'll do it as one big block. My favorite way to kind of set these up is when we're looking at the VVA, I just tell them, hey, I'm going to number these. You're doing 1, 2, 3, rest, 1, 2, 3, rest, 4, 5, 6, rest, 4, 5, 6, rest. Once you finish that, your bonus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it, guys? Great. All right. And then give them the setup for it. The finisher is going to be the high plank alternating leg lift. So that is going to be movement number 7. Simply acknowledge it once you are like about a minute out. And since they're not using any equipment for that, they could also take that opportunity to use that to rest as they wipe down dumbbells and get ready for that movement. And that's day 11. That's all I got for you guys on that one. Appreciate you for listening in, and coach it down.